Another good thing about perennial vegetables is there's a perennial vegetable for almost every location. Annual crops need to be typically planted in the sun. And so you've got to, if you want good production, you've got to plant them in the sun. And we've done perennial vegetables. You can put them in the shade, the sun, and everywhere in between. There's a whole stack of diversity in this area. Who can name me a couple of quick perennial vegetables? Rhubarb? Oh, there's one now, yes. We've got three or so varieties of rhubarb here. This is a new one, by the way. This is called Red Dragon because it's really got really nice forms. And this is what people think the perennial vegetables are. Just rhubarb and things like that. But this, as you can see, and this is not all of them, all the ones we grow. There's a whole stack here I can't even talk about because I just won't have time. And one of the reasons for putting things that is showing you that there's a whole diversity of different things we can eat. And it makes it actually a lot safer as a species. A lot of this used to be grown, it was common knowledge 2 or 3, 4 generations ago, and we've lost that knowledge. Another good thing about perennial vegetables is the nutrient content is so much higher. And so we get, I mean, who's been to, and you could go to the supermarket and you bite into what should be a nice experience, eating an apple or something like that. And it's not. It's just not. The nutrient content is not there. It's either picked too early. There's all kinds of problems with our production system. Cold storage. Yep, all that. But the actual, one of the advantages of perennial vegetables too is typically their roots go deeper into the soil, and so they're able to actually unlock a lot more nutrient down further. And they're more resistant to shock, so they're more resistant to like water. They're able to get water because the roots go down deeper, so it's better all round. We're also going to talk about, just quickly, about things like planting in a guild. Has anybody heard of guild planting before? A few of you. Okay. It strikes back. It's actually an old method of production. The American Indians are very famous for guilds, what they call guilds, and you can use the same thing at your place as well. Whether you use annual vegetables or perennial vegetables, something will matter as far as a guild goes. Guild is something where you plant 3 or 4 different things, and they are mutually supporting plants, so they're all helping each other to grow. The classic one is beans, corn, and the Americans called squash. What you do is you plant your beans. This is the old way the American Indians used to do a lot of their agricultural practices. They go and get some fish waste, and they make big hills of fish waste in an area, and they leave that for a while, and then they go and they plant some corn on it. Now the corn they used to grow isn't the same corn that we have. It was mainly what they call flint corn, so it was for making flour and things like that. It's not sweet corn, it's been largely corrupted. And so they plant that. And at the same time, then they plant some beans at the base of them. And the idea being is the beans would grow up eventually when the corn got to this sort of size, and the beans would germinate, and the corn would get nice and high, and they grow up. You're climbing them, and they grow up onto the corn. So the corn would act as a trellis for the vegetable, effectively. And the bean would also fix nitrogen. All your legumes, things like that, they fix nitrogen, and they make that then available to the corn. So it's helping each other. And then as a ground cover, they plant some squash or pumpkins right over there. So it would keep the ground moister, and the sun wouldn't penetrate. And the squash would like it a little bit. Anybody who's grown cucumbers?
Yeah, I've
you've grown cucumbers. As soon as the sun comes out, they just go, oh. Yeah, you plant them in something like that, where they're getting a bit of shade. And so everything's working together. Very clever system. And we do that in the forest garden situation as well. We do the same thing. I'll go through a few plants here. Some are beans, like perennial beans, we plant those in an area which provide nitrogen for the other plants, things like that. So there's a whole spectrum. So I'll get you to sort of think about how can these plants interact, because they interact in the soil beautifully, rather than just have lots of straight lines and